Hello, hello, and welcome to Inklings with Irena, the weekly energy show connecting you to your intuitive guidance system. And I am so glad that you are here. Today, I am playing on another fun play of words when it comes to shifting the energy blues and blahs that can pop up when the weather gets cold or when we get close to holidays. I want to give you a recipe that you can take away because it's very much coming to the forefront for my clients, and both my one-on-one clients as well as those in my incredible Insight of the Moon. And hey, if we haven't met, my name is Irena Miller. I'm an intuitive energy guide and energy alchemist. I love for the last 2 decades, I've been studying sacred practices, everything from yoga to Reiki to tarot to crystals to tuning forks. Oh my goodness. And what I do is I've been bringing that for the last 2 decades to empathic, visionary people who are looking to make the world a better place. They want to leave it better than how they found it. And yet they take on so much of the hurt and the ache as if it were their own. So I want to talk about that today a little bit because it's so easy to absorb these big feelings. And at this time of year, if weather is a little gray where you live, or, just not being able to see the family, then this energy recipe will help. So since we are close to the holidays, if you're watching with me live or you're watching in a replay later on down the road, what's your favorite holiday movie? Do you have a favorite? One of mine is Love Actually. I do love that movie so much. The opening scene of everybody in the airport running to greet each other and just hugging and loving. And I think they do that at the end too. Oh my gosh, I was so inspired during a documentary when I heard that the director actually filmed real life people doing that and then went up afterwards, asked their consent, hey, you don't want to be in the movie. This really captured that joy that comes from, connecting with a loved one. And this year with COVID, many of us can't be with our loved ones. So those energy blues and blahs, they sneak up. So I like to think of things like a certain movie that might inspire. Hello, Yang, great to have you. Yeah, definitely when you jump on, give me a shout out, a little hello. And from that movie, Love Actually, as I sat and I meditated and I tuned into what I wanted to share with you today, the song popped up. Bill Nighy, who is one of the actors in the movie, sings a play on Let a Little or Put a Little Love in Your Heart by Annie Lenox, and he calls it like Christmas is all around. And I love that. So I started hearing the lyrics of Annie Lennox's song, like let a little love in your heart, to make the world a better place. Now, how this tunes into the energy recipe is so often when we think of making the world a better place, especially as an empath, we want to go out and give to others. Not that that's a bad thing. It's wonderful to support and give to others. But what happens more often than not is that many empaths give so much that they end up run down, drained, burned out. They start to resent others because they're like, I help so much. And when I need help, who's around, And sometimes they don't even ask for help. They feel very alone on their path, almost as an outsider. Sometimes they feel like, nobody gets me, nobody understands. And they have this worry or fear of being narcissistic if they love on themselves at all a little bit. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. So I'm using a fun catchphrase, Bob's your uncle. I don't know if you guys have heard that catchphrase, but definitely in my overseas mode. I lived in Ireland for a time and have many relatives over there in the west coast of Ireland. And living there, I definitely have picked up some phrases, and Bob's your uncle is one. I love that, and it popped into my head as well today as I was tuning into the energy recipe for you to shift these blues and blahs. And Bob's your uncle just means you're guaranteed success. The first thing when it comes to this moment in time is believing. I really encourage you to take a moment and say, okay, what do I believe when it comes to loving myself? So often, very, very giving time of year, and we try to make the world a better place. We're going out and we're doing so much. But like Annie Lenox says in her song, it's important we put a little love in our heart. And the way that I see that is, yes, we put love in our heart so we can share it with others. But that love in your heart, the way that it gets there is through feeding your spirit, doing things that really are kind to yourself, offering yourself grace in situations, noticing what you believe about yourself, noticing how you talk to yourself. What do you believe to be true? So many of my clients are so hard on themselves. They have really high expectations. They have a high bar. They would never hold anybody else to those expectations. And it's rare that they offer themselves grace. So this is a moment in time, and this has energy recipe to encourage you to believe in yourself. Believe in loving on yourself, and don't worry that, it would be selfish or narcissistic, because here's the thing: when you do very sacred, energetic practices to feed your spirit, and that could be a walk. A walk can be a very sacred experience. It could be a bath. What happens is you shift your energy vibration. You're taking time to love and care, and that translates out. It ripples out so that others feel that about you. Think about it. If you've had the chance to get a good night's sleep, you've had enough time to cook a meal or eat healthy food, when you go back out into the world to love on people, it's so much easier, I find. We're not drained and exhausted and trying to give from that empty place. There's been that moment of just nurturing and believing in ourselves enough so that we take that time to feed our spirit, which to me just means doing a practice or engaging in something that lights you up, where you lose track of time. The second part, Bob's your uncle, is open. To be open to receive these gifts that are all around. It can be very challenging when you're a giver to receive. I have clients who are amazing. They love to gift people things. They send all sorts of goodies, yet when someone gives them something, they have a hard time even opening it. Some of them don't even cash checks. When they're given checks, they have a hard time receiving. And this is because they're so used to giving. So are there areas in your world where you can soften just a little bit to receive these gifts? And maybe it's a gift of time that you give yourself, where you say, you know what? I'm going to make sure I end work on time. I'm going to set that boundary so that I can have a moment to just transition from work into my family life. That would be feeding your spirit. That would be loving on yourself. That would be a self-nurturing activity. Then the final B of Bob's your uncle is to become. Become the energy you wish to embody. And what I mean by this is, so often, and I want to look at my notes, that energy that you pour into just taking time to love on yourself, to offer yourself grace, all of that shifts your vibration in such a way that the world looks at you differently. It experiences you in a slightly different way and therefore treats you differently. I'll never forget, in high school, there was a young gal who came into the school year, and she came in part way. Now, having been a foreign service brat, I know what it's like to be plucked out of one school in the middle of the school year and plopped into another. It can be very awkward, and you kind of get used to, okay, well, you got to be quiet, figure out what's going on, don't be too loud and brash, and kind of figure out, know your place. And that was kind of what I usually experienced. So I was in school, and this one gal ended up joining partway through the school year. And so this young gal, she walked in as if she owned the place. And I remember being so shocked. I thought, oh, who would do such a thing? She doesn't know who's who here. She walked in as if she was queen of the castle. And I was blown away by that, because what she was doing was she was embodying an energy of self-acceptance and of love. She was confident in her gifts and her talents, and she wasn't looking to move into that role of just merely pouring everything out and offering. It was a balance, a harmony. So as you move forward, what I invite you to do is give this energy recipe a try, and Bob's your uncle. You're guaranteed success. It's just to wrap it up. Take a moment to believe. Check in. What do you believe about yourself? How have you been talking to yourself? Take a moment to shift that and really love on yourself. And then question, are you open? Open to receive the gifts that are coming your way? Many, many givers and empaths, we just love to give. It's very hard to receive, but allow yourself, even in the smallest of moments, to say, yes, you know what? I'm going to receive this little gift of extra time and not try to fill it with another appointment. And then finally, the last B, becoming. Embody the energy that you wish to become, meaning simply you go through the sacred practices. If you wish to have that moment where you feel connected, where you find that place of belonging, allow yourself a moment of breath. I invite you to my community, the Inside of the Moon membership. So much fun, an incredible group of people out there. But take actions on the energy that you wish to embody. And Bob's your uncle. All right. Thanks so much for joining me and for jumping back on. I hope you have an incredible day. And to continue the adventure with me, just click the link and I'll see you soon. All right. Thanks for being here. Mwah. Catch you on the flip side, guys.